Hi everyone, and happy Thursday. I hope you guys are all having a super day. I know here in Australia, we are literally back to school. So yesterday, about half of our children started back at school, and today we've had another whole lot go back to school, including my daughter, who has actually changed schools. So I had to get up this morning and drive her to school because even though she's about to start year 10, she really wanted me to drive her to school and see her off on her first day, which I thought was pretty sweet. So luckily I work from home, as you all know. So I'm able to work, I'm getting my car and drive her to school. So I'm very, very fortunate. I really do know that I am, because not a lot of mums can do that because they're all working. So I was pretty excited to see her off on her first day. So today's topic is how to get your child reading without a teacher. Now, if you have a child who's shut down, a child who really won't pick up a book, they're not interested in books, if you suggest they would read a book, or you buy them a book, or you suggest a trip to the library, they look at you as though you're an alien, because they do not want to read. They've literally given up reading. So today's blog post and Facebook post is all about that. So what would happen, I wonder, if that child who has shut down with reading actually came to you and said, "Mum, or Dad, or Grandma, or Grandpa, I've just taught myself to read." I wonder if you would believe them. I wonder if you would think it was true or not. Now, what would you think if I told you that I've actually taught between 5,000 and 10,000 children to read by themselves without a teacher? I wonder if you would believe me. Well, I can not only teach a child to read remotely, as in online, I can also give you a guarantee that if you have a child that's struggling with reading and spelling, that I can teach them to read. And if I can't teach them to read, then I want you to let me know what your thoughts are on why it didn't work for you. So I really want your feedback if my method doesn't teach your son or daughter to read. And by son or daughter, I'm talking teenager, or I'm talking young child, maybe from 6 onward, and even young adults are using this method as well. So here's a story for you. And this is a story from somebody who is actually using my method. So she said, when her bright as a button child started at grade 4 in her new school, so this was a brand new school, so this child is 10 years old, her mum never thought that she was going to be a behaviour problem, but in fact, that's what happened. So she was refusing to do her schoolwork. She was daydreaming, and she was starting to get so frustrated, this daughter, that she was shouting at the teacher, and there's no way she was going to read in class. Now, this was a surprise to Louise, the mum, because she'd never had this happen before. And she was thinking, she told me as she drove up to the school one day, how in the heck did I get to the point where I've been called in to speak to the teachers 3 times now because my daughter is not doing what she's meant to do at school. She's always been a good student. She's always been a good girl, and she'd never had this problem. And Louise said she was racked with guilt because she thought she should know what was going on. She thought she should have been able to foresee that there was going to be a problem with reading. And then she thought, well, I'm guessing if I ask the teacher for help, the teacher will tell me what I should do. Well, of course, the teacher said to this friend of mine, Louise, why don't you take her to see a psychologist? And is there something going on at home that I should know about? Which made Louise really upset because she didn't get any strategies from her teacher. And that was because in majority of cases, teachers aren't trained. So here was a situation where Louise felt like she was now in charge of her daughter finding a reading solution. And she thought, well, I'm just going to have to jump online and see what I can find. So she did. She jumped online and she actually found my method. And she thought, well, I'll give it a go, because why wouldn't I give it a go? It's got a full guarantee. If this method doesn't work, I can speak to Liz and I can sort it out, and I can get my money back, because obviously this is something that people invest in for their children. So 6 weeks later, Louise tells me that her daughter was a changed child. Every morning before she started her schooling, she would jump out of bed, go and grab her headphones, go and grab her iPad, and she would sit up at the breakfast bar and she would spend 10 minutes using this method. Then she would laugh and smile and giggle, and Louise said I could hear her sounding out words and singing along with videos. And then after school, her daughter would come home again, and then she would start using all these multi-sensory ways to practice all the skills that she'd learnt that morning from her iPad and the videos that she'd been watching. And the funny thing was that after 6 months of absolute stress in Louise's family, she never had to remind her daughter to do it. Her daughter just did it of her own motivation, her own volition. So she just did it. So not only that, is about 3, 4, 5 weeks in, Louise said to me that her daughter was now picking up chapter books, really simple chapter books, and starting to read them. Not only that, she'd actually made some friends with some girls in her class. So she was having an issue with making friends as well. And those girls had asked her if she wanted to join a basketball team. So everything had flipped for Louise and her daughter. And those stories that I get from mums like Louise are really, really common, because when I was at school teaching in the classroom, even I felt limited and restricted and stifled. So when I had 3 children who struggled with learning to read and spell, and were eventually diagnosed with dyslexia, I had to come up with a whole new strategy to teach them to read and spell and to get their success and their confidence on track. So that's where this comes from. This is not something that you will find in schools. This is purely something that you will find if you're a parent like me and maybe you, and you go searching. So Louise contacts me quite often, and she even says that her daughter's spelling has improved, and she's getting great results in her weekly spelling. So I'm wondering if this is something that you might like to consider for a son or daughter or a grandchild that you know. Do you need a reading method that can turn them around, that can flip them, if you like, from being really stressed, really anxious, lacking sleep, into a child who is really powering through school and life in general? So what I've done is, because the best way to really understand what I've done is to watch a webinar or a web class. And now that is simply an online video where I talk about what I've created, why I created it, and how it works. So the best way for parents and teachers to understand this whole method is to actually watch the web class. And then once you understand it, you can decide it's for you. And remember, there is a full money back guarantee. Have you ever heard of a learning program with a full money back guarantee? Well, until I created a program with a full money back guarantee, I had never heard of it, and I'm still yet to find a program that's got a full money back guarantee after a month of you trying it. So that's what I'm all about. I want to make this work for parents. So watch the webinar. I'm going to put a link to it, the web class, below this post so you can see it. And I just want to read you a couple of comments, because my job is the best. I get the best comments from my parents, and I get them every day, and I share them amongst my whole team, because all of us live for the children around the world that we help, and we absolutely love the fact that we can help children who are struggling at school. And not only that, we deal directly with the children. The parents set it up, the teachers set it up, but it's the children who go online and do the program without being asked. It's the children who get to the quizzes at the end and get 100% and get really excited. And then they tell us, it's the first time I've ever got 100% and I'm so excited. And it just builds their confidence. And before you know it, it's amazing. So here's some comments. This is Sandra, and she's in the USA. In fact, she's in Texas. And she says, I just wanted to contact you to say my son Jeffrey and I love the program. He is ASD, ADHD, and dyslexic, and he has no working memory. School was tough for him in lots of ways, so we now homeschool him. We usually have a lot of stress around learning time, but your program is fun. And he says, she's really nice. We're only on A8, but I know it's engaging him. So that's from Sandra. Here's another one from Sophia. So Sophia says, I've been subscribing and using this program, and I'm a huge supporter of your systematic teaching of phonics. There's definitely lots of phonics in there. I love the way you structure this. I wish I'd found you years ago when my child was in primary school. Peter, our 13-year-old, has severe learning difficulties, including dyslexia. I'm a teacher and I'm also studying my master's in learning support. So I know your program's doing it right. I recommend the program to lots of other primary school children I work with and their parents, and I really do believe in what you're doing. Thank you for allowing us the chance to use your method. And that's from Sophia. Oh gosh, I've got so many. Here's one from Chrissy. She's in constant contact with me about her son, Ewan, and I've actually met Ewan at a learning difference convention that I was at, which I absolutely love it when I run into my kids out and about. She said, I'm proud to say that joining your program, my son, Ewan, has improved in his reading, is happy to do his schoolwork, is reading for pleasure, is writing more, is becoming a better speller, has gone up in his reading levels, speaks out more about what he needs when he wants to learn something, is more confident, is willing to try new things. And he also now understands that he has a bright future to look forward to, because one of the things I use in this method is confidence building exercises, because I want children to know that they have so much potential. Just because they don't fit in the school box, it doesn't mean they can shine. They can't shine when they leave school and go on and do absolutely something amazing. And our children need to know this. So there you go. Now, I'm going to send out a blog on this topic today. You will get to see lots and lots of testimonials in there. Now, I get hundreds of testimonials. So this is just a smattering that I pulled out to show you. So if you think that you have a child who's not learning to read or spell and they're starting to become a bit downhearted about it, I really want you to give this a go. I'm going to be honest with you, not every method works for every child, but I know for a fact that this one works for a majority of children. So it really is worth a go. I've designed it to create success for your children. So that's why I can offer the guarantee. I don't want to take anything from anybody if they don't get anything in return. So if you were to use my method and use my program and it doesn't work, I don't want you to use your money on my program. I want you to take that money and I want you to use it on a program that works. And we can also help you to find an alternative program, which we do all the time if it's perhaps not working. So don't forget, you can ask us about alternative programs if you give this a go and it doesn't work. Don't continue to let your child fall behind, because earlier intervention is always better. It is also better for your child's mental health and their psychological health to get onto it earlier. You won't have seen anything like this in schools, because what I do does not exist in schools. This is child-driven. It's child-centered. It is not teacher-driven or parent-centered. I know a lot of parents do it alongside their children because they absolutely love it and they find it entertaining, which is great. But you don't have to be actively engaged in your child's tutoring or learning program. You can actually let them hold the reins and steer the cart in their own direction. So watch the web class, learn all about it. Don't miss out on our opportunity. because who knows if you'll find this post down the track when you go back to look for it. So make sure you get on board, watch the web class. I will definitely put the link to it in the bottom so you can see. And I really hope that you give me the opportunity to help your child to shine and to reach their true potential. So thanks, everyone. Lovely to get all your comments. Hi, Candace, and hi, Jennifer, and hi, Gigi. I absolutely love hearing from you. And it is so lovely. And goodbye to everyone. Talk to you soon. See you next week.